Welcome to the Labyrinth. I'm your host Pratham Padav. My guest today is Sirhud Kalra. He is a men's coach, motivational speaker, and a famous YouTube personality who talks mainly about masculinity. He is also the founder of the Freeman, which is a community and a learning center for young men to improve themselves and find their purpose. You can find more information on thefreeman.org. If you find this podcast useful, do like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment below. Many of you had requested me to get Sarhad on the podcast, so here he is. Without further delay, let's begin.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
So, sorry, what were your subscribers telling you? And subscribers to the podcast.
yeah. Subscribers to my podcast were telling get Sarhad Kalra. You have to get him. Many of my some of my long-term subscribers who had subscribed very early on. Whenever I ask this
Okay.
question, who should I get on the podcast? They're like, get Sarath. Get Sarath. So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. What they want to hear the kind of illegal stuff I'll talk about. um,
Yeah,
yeah,
we.
because
Hmm.
for the regular people in the world, it's illegal
Yeah,
to speak your mind, to speak your truth, to speak your heart. It's wrong. You better
yeah.
conform, otherwise you're
Hmm.
out.
Hey, have you heard about this guy
That's
Andrew Tate?
Man, why is everybody asking me about him?
Uh, uh,
I don't know his work. I don't know what he does. I have a kind of a feeling of what kind of a person he is from
hmm.
whatever little bit I have seen. But I don't, and I know lately there's some stuff which has happened. So it's like all over the place. Everybody's talking about it. I don't know what has happened. And people keep asking me, what do you think about this guy? And I'm like, why do you care? What do you think about yourself? What the fuck? Why you are talking about other people?
And no, this guy suddenly, from the past few months, suddenly is popping on everyone's feed. He's saying all these things. Some people, call it toxic, and some people are like, this guy is red pilled or based. And just a couple of
Hmm.
days ago, Facebook and Instagram banned his account.
Hmm.
It makes sense when you say illegal stuff. It Whenever
Hmm.
someone says things that the mainstream does not approve of, they get kicked out.
Yeah. Um, I think it'll change, man. Like even right now, first of all, apologies that the first time we weren't able to speak, I think the internet had blown off because of the rain or some shit. So sorry for that.
Yeah, no
Second,
issues.
sorry, today we are starting a little bit later. I apologize for that. But since past 15 minutes, I'm on the system and I've been trying to figure out how to, do it on this thing, not this browser that I'm on,
Hmm.
and a browser which doesn't record everything I'm doing. So I wanted to do it on that, but like I wasn't able to get the settings right, so I ended up coming back to Chroma. You know,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Otherwise, I mean, we started like I personally started migrating away from a lot of things ages ago. Even
Hmm.
your Titsta Glam and your YouTube. Like I just stopped giving a damn about it. So because I can see where it's headed, and there might be a time when people also see it, but by then it'll be too late for them. The amount of damage it'll do will be way too much.
Hmm.
So to be able to basically, I mean, this is also one of the principles of if you're trying to mature into the mature masculine, that you prepare for wars in
Hmm.
advance.
Hmm.
All right, and you prepare so well that you don't need to fight the fucking war. you
Hmm.
know so your prep is only so good that it negates all chances of any damage, losses, etc. And for us, like from the start, we've been doing stuff which was way ahead of time. So now you have multiple aggregators, such as there's a company Tag Mango, there's a company Class Plus. Like there are these places where people can come and teach courses, and they're giving them that back end system.
Hmm.
I made mine in 2019 because I
Hmm.
realized that social media is not really social anymore. It's the mass media. It's the new mass media,
Yeah.
basically. So especially for the purpose for which I work, that they're not going to like that,
Hmm.
because that goes against their ultimate intentions. So um, I realized also that for the people who are serious about learning this as men, you need a dedicated place. You can't be doing it next to videos of fucking 16-year-old girls revealing themselves, or
mm,
some other, I don't know, viral video or dhinchak puja or something. It's just
mm.
crap. It's a crap shoot. It's a complete crap shoot.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, uh, I would just like to know a little bit about you,
Mm,
who you are, what you do, where you're from, how you got started with all of this, how, like, what are you interested in? Because I personally do not consume any media
mm.
content, nothing. I don't consume anything, but I did open your podcast when the invite came through the first time, and I saw the guests, and I know Ishi from my team also has,
Yeah.
done one with you. So I kind of understood, the kind of conversations you're having. So I was like 100%, let's do it. But I would just want to know a little bit about you.
Yeah. Yeah, Ishi has not actually come on my podcast because we had some timing constraints. But yeah, I
Ah,
maybe
okay.
I'll have her in the future. But about me, see, I mean, I come from a very religious, orthodox joint family here in Mang. I used to live in a joint family. Okay, and
Hmm.
because of living in a joint family and being the eldest male child amongst my cousins,
Hmm.
there was so much, because I live in a religious family, there were so many constraints. There's so many things
Hmm.
that you cannot do, and I've always fantasized running away from my house, even as a child. So I
Hmm.
always thought, okay, as soon as I'm 18, I'm going to start working. But for some reason, I couldn't do that. So as soon as I finished college in 21, I left Mangalore, went to Bangalore, and
Hmm.
from 2014ish time, I've been working for different companies, earning
Hmm.
my own
In what
living.
field?
Mostly in finance. I working for these international companies, living on the tech parks on the outer ring
Hmm.
road of Bangalore. So I
Hmm.
was doing that for many years until COVID happened. Until COVID, you can say that I was a regular guy. I was a sheep, you could say.
Hmm.
COVID is when I think a lot of people woke up. I don't mean to get too conspiratorial now. Maybe we
Hmm.
can do talk about that later. But at that time, I felt like, okay, I have to take care of my own health. I have to take care of my own finances. Something is going on wrong here because there
Hmm.
are two groups of men who were walking in the same path. But 2020, there was an intersection. Few group
Hmm.
of men walked this way, few of them walked the other way, and
Hmm.
the men who are very masculine or who are freedom oriented, they were like, okay, how do we
Hmm.
make
Thank you.
money, how do we not depend on the system, how do
Hmm.
we, how are we self sufficient? And because of lockdowns, the weaker men, they began to get addicted to Instagram reels. They were like jerking off every day, wasting their time, and that was kind of scary for me. And around that
Hmm.
same time, at the end of 2020, in the beginning of 2021, I started with podcasts. I got a lot of interesting people. I met a lot of people, made a lot of new friends because of the podcast, lost a lot of old friends because my way of thinking changed, and it was not tolerable for everyone. And I
Hmm.
get that. I think when you reach a certain age, you have to be ready to lose some friends,
No,
and
it's
that
not
thing
just about
happened.
age.
Yeah.
It's not just about age. The
Mm,
intersection you spoke about, the
mm,
divergence of the two paths.
mm,
All right. So that is not just happening with men and who are masculine and stuff. That is basically happening at a consciousness level, regardless of, like, nature is already going through it since many
mm,
years. All right. I mean, in the recent past, because there's a massive change that we as a planet, our planet is a living being. So we as a planet are going through a massive change. And every organic, nature created organism over here
mm,
is already in the next level. They're already at the next level. We are the idiots who are stuck behind.
mm,
All right. So because I don't know how in tune you are, or how much attention to detail you have, but the way the birds are functioning, the way the trees are functioning, the way animals are functioning, everything is changing, but it's so subtle
mm,
that you need to have a lot of sensitivity to be able to identify all of this. Okay. So what I was saying was, it's not about, that with age, you'll end up losing friends.
mm,
See, the divergence which is happening is going to lead to two kinds of populations on the same planet.
mm,
All right. One will be the ones who will remain like before,
mm,
sleeping.
mm,
They'll have many friends, but their
mm,
friendships are not going to be genuine, truthful, and deep.
true.
All right.
True.
The path on which you've left for, like, you will have just friends on, you can count on less than like one
Yeah.
hand,
Mm,
but they'll be like having your back, you'll be having their back.
mm,
They'll be very, very genuine and deep relations.
Yeah.
you know they'll they'll give your life meaning. And the thing is, just within two people itself, because we ourselves are individually a component of the ultimate life force, just
Mm,
within two forces of life you can create multiple universes. So just between two people, even if you've just had one friend for 10 years, you can have multiple experiences with them,
mm,
explore different universes and possibilities with them.
mm,
Because going deeper is better than trying to grab everything, which is what people are running after today. They're stupid.
mm. Yeah.
They don't know the essence or the actual quality of something, because it's just about the next best thing. Fuck it, next. It's just about, you know it's like the fucking TikTok, man. you
Yeah.
know
It just flip. You go on flipping it because
People are
now.
switching jobs in like 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
People are switching relations like that. And the problem is never outside. They'll blame on the outside and they'll,
Mm,
switch to something else. But the problem is only you, and you within. You fix yourself. Whatever
yeah.
you're thinking is bad outside, it'll get sorted.
Hmm. Yeah, I think now another issue is it's so difficult to come out of this, and it's so easy for men or women to get chained to this because reality has become so dense. We are not used to having so much information on our palms. Our parents didn't have this. Our grandparents didn't have this. They had to
So
literally,
much misinformation in our palms.
yeah,
Experts ki suno.
yeah,
Have you seen those ad campaigns in 2020,
oh
2021? Did you
yeah,
see
yeah,
those fucking, the programming is at another level. It's at
yeah.
another fucking level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was crazy. I mean, we had to
But
outsource our.
the same news
Hmm,
of the president of USA falling sick with that illness after being injected 4 times,
hmm.
that they will not show. That they will
Yeah.
not show.
I mean,
So
yeah,
sorry, I cut you off. Sorry.
yeah.
Hmm.
What happened is we have outsourced our common sense, our ability to produce common sense to the experts. And
Hmm.
who are these experts? They are not elected. Forget being elected. They are appointed by a group of people who don't have the same intentions that we do. What
Hmm.
is going on behind the scenes, we don't know. And if we talk too much, they'll say, oh, this person is fringe, this person is right wing, this person is conspiracy theorist. We are just using basic common sense and logic. That's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That.
Hmm. Yeah, it's we are at a very critical turning point for
Mm,
humanity. And the next 10 years, like all of us who are alive at this particular time, we're incredibly lucky, but we are at the same time in for an incredibly wild ride.
mm,
Okay. So the point of time that we are breathing at today
mm,
is a point which will never be the same again. So the changes which we will go through in this particular decade are gonna revolutionize, all right, the way governance works, the way finance works, the way interpersonal relations work, the way jobs and industry works. It'll die. More than half of the shit
mm.
will die.
Yeah.
All right, it's not that far now. It'll die. So there's going to be such changes that people will not be able to cope, because the impact is going to be so drastic. That is why, if you have that drastic an impact, the easiest thing for a human being to resort to is laziness.
Mm,
So if
yeah.
they are given 15 kilos of anaj,
Mm,
grains per month, and they'll be put in little matchbox houses and stuff,
mm,
they will acquiesce. They will say yes to that. You will
yeah.
see this happening.
Mm,
You will see this happening in our own time, in our own lifetime. You will see when all of this shit will start, coming to fruition, as it is already in the works. That majority of the people might just go like, yes, yes, like just make sure we are getting, the regular stuff, and that's it. They'll give a freedom for basics.
yeah.
What is the point of basics if you're going to eat them behind bars?
Yeah. Exactly.
Whether the bars are in your mind or in your rights, you have no
Mm,
rights today, man. You have no sovereignty, you have no freedom.
yeah. And most people are only interested in bread and circus. If you give those two things, that's enough for them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anyways, when did you begin your journey as a men's coach?
Okay. So, just wanted to ask, you have a bunch of questions for me, is it?
Yeah, I do have a
Fantastic.
bunch of
Cool.
questions.
So, No, I just like to use time efficiently. Like, so I'm happy that you've at least prepared something. But I knew that from the start that you'll be doing that. So when did I start my journey as a men's coach? Okay, I started working on myself in this particular aspect of developing myself as a man from the age of 14.
Mm,
Okay, and I have done a lot. All right, I have read a whole lot of other fucking different things. I have practiced it, and more than that, more than whatever I have studied, more than whatever I myself invited into my life. Lessons were thrown at me beyond my capacity of being able to handle them or grasp them. So I've actually lived a lot of stuff. Like technically, if you will ask Ishi from my team who you're in touch with, she can tell you incidences that because of which today I should not be alive. All right, in a lot of ways. And for me, the way my journey has been, especially probably since 2013, I've already kind of died multiple times and taken birth again. All right.
mm,
So, but that is the recent past. Now, how did I get started as a men's coach? Started off ages ago in sense of me working on myself, all right, to improve on the path of becoming a man. But education wise, I had no idea what to do because my entire family is full of doctors, Army, Navy, Air Force, and the services. So I thought by default I'm going to be taking science, and I used to be a very good kid in school. But then, as puberty started hitting, I became a massive delinquent, and was almost involved in criminal level stuff, like just stupid shit in school, man, just blowing bombs, jumping into the
okay.
girls bathroom, like bombs as in the Diwali
Okay.
patakas,
Uh,
fireworks.
okay.
All right, don't worry, man, I'm not Al Qaeda. so so yeah, all of that stuff, and then I messed up my studies and everything, and then life at that level kind of got messed up. So something happened from there. I realized, okay, from now, if I ever want to excel in this place where I failed, that I should never ever have to even try. I want to become that good.
Mm,
So then I started studying that particular field. I started applying it. I found massive success. I found the results of dedication and focus in one particular pursuit or avenue. And like that, I started working on myself. Kept on going on and on and on. But professionally, I kept on working at collecting accolades, collecting experiences, certificates. Because in my family they're very major achievers, and I can never probably match up to them. And achievers, when I say, I mean more in terms of service to humanity. My mother through education, my father through healthcare. And for me, I just knew that they have done so well that, like my mother's a university gold medalist, my father topped AFMC, All India Entrance Exam, the best medical college, like that. So I was like, even I need to do top level shit, no matter what it is. I didn't know. So I was going to fall into science stream by default, messed up my 10th because of those years when I was bad. And messed up means I got what, 78%, which for me was like, how the hell did I get below 90? All right, because I've never, and these are 10th boards, oh my god. So yeah, then 11th 12th I worked hard at the academics and everything, and I had to get into commerce because my school would not have given me science and I wanted to stay in my school. So went on to do commerce, went on to study business, then realized that these 3 years of doing an undergraduate degree in India were useless. I need to study more, need more education, because people are fighting for jobs of 16,000, 15,000. End of third year placements are going on. They're sucking up to these idiots who themselves don't know anything. All right, because for me, depth or truth matters. All right, that if you're doing something, like I'm here with you 100% right now. All right,
yeah.
I'm not doing this for a commercial angle, I'm not getting paid for this, none of this shit. But if I'm here, I'm here. All
Yeah.
right. So the people who are coming to interview you, fuck faces, they themselves are hating that, look, we have to come today to a college and do this, but they're happy that they got to be out of the office. You can see that in their
Yeah.
body language, you can see that, you can read that. And you are trying to impress these guys who are anyways faking it. You are faking it to impress them to get a shitty ass job where you'll be treated like a piece of shit. All
Yeah.
right. So I was like, it doesn't make sense. So I went abroad. I did 2 master's degrees together at the same time. Blah 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 blah. Got into strategy consulting because that and investment banking are the two most premium fields if you study business. And getting there, none of this was easy. I've gone through hell to get anything in life. Everything I've gotten in my life has come after excessive amounts of delays and unlikely kind of problems. All
mm,
right. Like if you know that a certain task takes 5 minutes to do, for me there could be
mm,
problems which will end up taking 2.5 hours to get the same thing done. And there
mm,
are reasons for that also, like as I've been trying to just understand life more and studying new things. So but anyway, at 23, started off as a strategy consultant, working for one of the world's best firms, working with some of the world's biggest clients, everything great. Only non-European person to be hired by my company. They had to pay the
mm,
government a lot of money, all of that stuff.
mm,
But when I would wake up in the morning, I would take as much time as possible to get out of bed.
mm,
All right. So when my sleep would awaken, I would not spring to action like how I would today, even if I do not have sleep.
mm,
And that started making me wonder that what is going on. And at the same time, since a couple of years before that, um, depression started for me in my life, and not depression as the marketing or the empathy gaining word how people use
yeah.
it today,
Mm,
like actual depression. All right.
okay.
Yeah, you're just seeing yourself dead all the time, like just hell. Okay.
Okay.
So it didn't make sense, because I'm walking around in the Hugo Boss coat, I got a Ferragamo tie,
Mm,
I'm my salary for my first job is more than my father's as a major general in the Indian army.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
But why the fuck am I every day getting late to work? It doesn't make sense.
mm,
The smallest of things in life can teach you the biggest lessons, actually, if you can just pay attention to that.
mm,
So, and I was toying with this idea that I want to help others with everything that I've learned
mm,
since a while. Only I didn't know how I would do it, because I do not come from a business background family. In India you have,
yeah.
I don't understand money. My value system is very different from how the Indian business landscape works.
Mm,
All right. So I didn't have the confidence to leave everything that I had fucking worked for since
mm,
childhood, collecting certificates because I want to become the head boy in the school one day. All right.
mm,
Becoming the head boy, getting into good colleges because I want to do next level shit. So did all of that.
mm,
All right. But how do I leave it all now? Just because there is something in my heart I want to do, I want to help other people. How
mm,
am I going to make money out of it? Because
yeah.
in a way, what if you know the concept of seva, like how you have done? All
Mm,
right. So you have done, which is donation. All right. You
mm,
donate clothes, food to people who need it. Then you have seva. You provide service, whether it is
mm,
at a gurudwara. So this is just one example. All right. So in today's world, to do seva, to do service which is genuine, to
mm,
help another person, another living being, even an animal, and to earn money for it. Do you realize what a contradictory relationship that is?
mm, yeah.
But the future economy is going to be like that in a
Mm,
lot of ways. All right. But anyway, that's economics. For now, I did not know how I would be able to do that. But anyway, I did not have the guts. I had my model worked out. I had my knowledge worked out. I had my ideas worked out. Everything worked out. I could not make the decision. I used to run away from my job whenever I would get leave, a little bit.
mm,
I would run away to the Sahara. I would run away to Southern Europe. I would just run away. And then once I ran to India, June 2016, and I had a fall at 1:30 in the night where my foot, like if this is my calf and shin, my foot is in
mm.
front of my body, right? My foot went behind.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
So I fell, and the moment I fell, I started laughing like hell because I understood I was not supposed to go back. I was supposed to
okay.
do what is in my heart, and I'm supposed to get started. So even though my foot had gone behind my body, I was laughing my ass off that the decision has been made.
Mm,
It was not in my hands. And yeah, went to the hospital in the night. They did a temporary plaster till 3 in the night, 3:30 in the night. Came back at 4, slept or rested till like 6 in the morning. 6:37 in the morning was my surgery. I got a rod installed in my entire right shin and everything. Um, then I was kept there until the anesthesia and everything wore off. And the next day, I came back. And from that moment onwards, in that wheelchair, I started working on this. I built my own website. I started doing my own videos. I learned everything from photo editing to video editing to how to build a website, to how to price a course, how to do payments, how
Mm.
to like every fucking thing, start to finish. My capital was just 6,000 rupees, because all the money I used to earn, I used to spend it, right? I used to try to
Okay.
fill holes which were existing and I didn't know they existed. So I used to buy this super expensive, stuff, and I used to go on luxury kind of traveling, things. So yeah, um, sat in the wheelchair within 3 months,
Mm.
created the whole setup, because I never wanted to become like a lot of people still think
Mm.
I'm a social media person, like I'm a YouTuber, all right,
Mm.
or I'm a influencer or something. Fuck that. I never care for that shit. I came out to help men learn how to embody purpose in their
Mm.
life. All right.
Mm.
So I came out as a men's coach and a speaker. And then just because of the way I would, dress and carry myself, they started, the social media world started reaching out to me for the lifestyle side of things. And that's how I started doing brand deals with Mercedes and Ferrari and everything. So that was a whole different thing. But basically, from the start, it was sarhadkalra.com,
Mm.
which was shown,
Mm.
and YouTube was my vehicle, to get my
Mm.
knowledge out there. I don't know if you've seen like the first video.
Yeah,
If you
I
know.
think you changed a lot as a person. The earlier videos were mostly about lifestyle and genitals, and they were great. They help a lot of men. But if I see the
Yeah.
Sarad of today, he's like a
Hmm.
completely different person.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know, like you're talking a lot about masculinity, emotional issues, and I've seen your
Hmm.
videos where you are coaching a lot of younger guys, and a lot of them are lost, and
Hmm.
they also need a sense of brotherhood, which is what you are providing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what happened, from it, for it to go from there to here.
Yeah. So, as I said, death happened a few times, and I had to
Okay.
be reborn.
Hmm.
I've lost everything that I've built in my life in some way or another, in the pursuit of trying to get the outside world to recognize what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how it is important for all of us, basically to recognize not from the selfish aspect, all right? Because if I have to earn a reward, like if I have to earn money or if I have to do this thing, I would be doing completely something else,
Hmm.
you know, and I can fucking kill it. I have no problems. Even if you take just YouTube or social media as an example, I could have just focused on dating as a coach,
Hmm.
you know. You show me one motherfucker in the world who's better. Forget
Hmm.
India, all right?
Okay.
Because the way my approach evolved over time when it came to the masculine feminine interaction, it started off with just one Google search on how to get a girlfriend, all right? And then you come across this new age industry called pickup artistry, which was there in the United States at that time. So I was studying this shit at 14 years of age, all right? I was
Hmm.
studying this shit in ninth grade, and that is when I was in ninth grade, when people in India did not have phones, in their
Okay.
hands and stuff like that, or internet was used for people to be on fuckbook, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, so started off from there, but then I realized that whatever I was like planning to, I don't know, achieve or feel by being with women was not happening.
Hmm.
And that is because even for me, like, the dating coaches or the pickup industry or whatever, they end up making the female as if it's an object to acquire, and you can manipulate it into cooperation with your behavior.
Hmm.
It's fucking stupid, because how long can you keep an act up?
Hmm.
Sooner or later, even if somebody is playing an act with you, you figure out, right, what their
Hmm.
true reality is. Yeah. So just the way my journey with the feminine evolved over time, including with the women in my life, including with the feminine within me, the amount of grace I embraced changed me completely.
Hmm.
That today, if I need to have sex today,
Hmm.
I don't need to do more than maybe two text messages,
Hmm.
and I have a range of options to pick from. But today I'm at a level where I don't want it,
Hmm.
you know. And that's not to say that I'm trying to demean sex, all right? It's just that wherever I'm exercising my willpower or my energy, it is, first of all, a lot of people cannot take it. So um, it's been difficult to come across even women who can take my intensity.
Mm.
All right. But what I mean is, if it comes to even just sex, just because you can have it doesn't mean that you should have it. It's the same with food. Don't
Mm.
don't live to eat, eat to live.
Yeah.
So the thing is that everybody's fighting for abundance, but they're fighting for abundance from a scarcity mindset.
Mm. Okay.
That when they have that abundance, they want to use it all. They want to show it all. You know. And I
Okay.
used to do that. There were times
Mm.
when I would be with like three different women in the same day.
Mm.
I'm talking very young days before any
Okay.
of this shit. All right.
Okay. So,
Yeah, but just yeah, go ahead.
so
Sorry, I completely forgot what we started with and where we were going. But like,
yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's the flow. That's how the flow is. So, what should men seek from women? Because a lot of men look at women as objects, and a lot of women portray themselves as objects as well. So, what should
yeah.
men seek from women, and what should men seek from partnership with women?
What should men seek from women, and what should?
Men seek from partnership with women, because this is a sort of a
Hmm.
partnership. Because if you look at them as objects, it's not a partnership, it's a possession.
Hmm. Okay. So one of the primary, see, this is a very broad topic, first of all right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, very.
we'll hit it in a short manner. One of the primary ways through which a man feels useful,
Mm.
because if a man doesn't get to feel useful, right, even if he has everything, he feels like shit.
Yeah.
I've had clients, or rather I've lost clients,
Mm.
because when you're born rich and you're young, you have a lot of ego. You can't face your own shit, you can't face your own shortcomings, you can't face your own that I'm a piece of shit. I'm
Mm.
born into money. I've got a bunch of people working for me as domestic help, and I can buy anything I want. I can be with any girl I want. So I don't need help, or whatever. So you have a lot of people who are very abundance rich in terms of resources,
Mm.
but from their heart, they are themselves not in touch with it. All right.
Mm.
There's no expansion there. All right. So as a man, for example, I just took this as one of the primary ways that you feel that you are embodying manhood, is that if you are useful,
Mm.
considered useful by others. Now how does that happen? That happens if you take responsibility.
Yeah.
So if a man is carrying responsibility, like just take the sexual market value, all right, just take hierarchy in society. The most powerful men are the ones with the most resources, all right,
Mm.
normally. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that just because they have the resources, that's what has given them power. If they are utilizing those resources, because of which there are people in whose homes electricity and gas is running. Let's say you have a company and you have 5,000 employees, all right, and every day their ghar ka chula, their cooking is happening
Mm.
based on income coming from you're carrying a lot of
Mm.
responsibility. So
Mm.
they respect you, they value you, all right.
Mm.
So you could have somebody who's shit rich, or the son of somebody shit rich, but they wouldn't garner respect. They might garner fear, but they will not garner respect unless
Mm.
you are carrying responsibility of either society or a family. You know,
Yeah.
you're useful in some way. All
Yeah.
right. So now, if a man can be in a partnership,
Mm.
or as you said, what should women seek? What should men seek in a woman? First of all, you don't need to seek something in the opposite.
Mm.
You learn how to fulfill it yourself first. All right.
Mm.
Luckily, as men, we don't really have to be that dependent. Men also, like, even if you will study, the shastras and everything, normally it is men who take, like, there's more men who take sannyas. There's more men who are on the path to moksha. There's more men
Yeah.
who want to be completely detached and independent. All right.
Mm.
Because prakriti, like the feminine, basically holds everything together in a disorganized yet beautiful chaos. All right. And it loves to suck in the the purush, the masculine, to experience it. All right. And that is why the ultimate desire of the ultimate free man is to detach from this suction force and just take moksha, liberation, samadhi, etc. So men technically do not really need to seek something from a woman. That doesn't mean that we do not need women, and that doesn't mean that we are demeaning women in any way. All right, it's just that women technically are more dependent than men are, and this doesn't mean to say, again, now I'm having to politically correct myself because I don't know who's going to listen to this. All right. um, that women can do everything on their own, great, yes, nobody's saying that they can't earn their own bread and this thing. The way they want the world to be, men and women are just going to be the same after a few years. All right. Which we are not. We are equal, 100%. We deserve equal opportunity, we deserve equal dignity, everything. But just because you're a woman or just because you're a man, you can't have extra privilege, extra legal rights, extra this. Just like you have literally complained against something and then put yourself in the position of the tyrant. All right. And you have demoted and demeaned everything else. And this to goes so deep that will need you to start a brand new podcast. All right. But
See, on my podcast, you can be as politically incorrect as possible. There is no need for subtleness. In fact, I will go in another direction right now. Okay, I'll ask you a controversial question. Is
no, no,
modern?
let me
Okay,
hold that, write it down. Let me finish this thing which you asked.
okay,
What should
okay.
man look for in a woman? So, as I said, technically, man, in my opinion, as of now, my understanding that he doesn't really need anything from the woman. All right, unless he wants to bear children, unless he wants to have a family and this thing. But what all of us need, including the man or the woman who's on the path to moksha, liberation, etc., what all of us need is love. 100%. All right.
Yeah.
You could be as independent abla nari as possible, or you could be as alpha a male as possible. But if you have love fulfilled in your life, when you'll go to sleep at night, you'll have warm, childlike sleep. Otherwise, you're fighting against everything in the world. You do not feel safe. You're in survival mode. All right. So, to go beyond the evolutionary drive of survival and reproduction, love can take you ahead because it
Okay.
starts transcending you beyond the basal levels of consciousness. That's why, even as I said, even the person who's on the path towards ultimate liberation does that because of being pulled by the love of the Almighty. All right. So even they are feeding on the love. They get so blissed out by it that that is all they want now. They want nothing to do with Maya. They want nothing to do with duality anymore. They want to be singularly that. Okay. So coming back to the question, what do men need from a woman? As I said, love. We can fulfill each other's needs. All right. Because that particular path which we just spoke about is not for everyone to take. We all want to enjoy the human experience. All right. So, finding that genuine love in somebody opposite to you, all right, who embraces you for who you are, gives you the chance to make mistakes because you're continuously on an effort towards continuous improvement. That's the kind of woman that you'll have a great partnership with, because when you also will be getting that feeling of being useful for a woman and the child and everything, that is how a woman can fulfill you in a lot of ways in life. And trust me, even women get fulfilled by allowing that to happen,
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
And they fulfill men in other ways. I
Mm.
mean, you can't, father a child without a woman. All right.
Yeah.
So, the most beautiful place to nurture a brand new being is a woman, because she's a vessel. She contains everything in existence. All right. Because man is that independent little sperm, so he's microscopic, yet he's incredibly powerful. And the womb is macroscopic and all encompassing. It allows anything and everything to nurture within it. It feeds it by itself. But to kickstart that process, you need conception, which happens when the masculine interacts with the feminine. Then you like all of us to become we are gods in a way. All right, so there's a creator, and then he made these mini little creators, all of us, you sitting there, me sitting here, who are playing this fucking video game, and we are all creators.
Mm.
But how do you create without two forces coming in, contact with each other and morphing into something else? All right, or mutating into something else. Yes, alone also you're, a major spark and you can do a lot of shit. But the only way you can do shit in this transactional universe, this duality oriented universe, is when you interact with things.
Mm.
You know, there's a give and take of energy, there's a give and take of a lot of things.
Okay.
That's when you're participating in the game, you're creating.
Mm.
And when you do it with a woman, that is the ultimate creation.
Mm.
Then the two polar opposites of the spectrum are coming together.
Mm.
So this, only a man can fulfill for a woman, and only a woman can fulfill for a man. No matter what else you can say, try to prove, try to create 97 genders on Facebook, do whatever you want. All right. You can try to delude people to another level, but the internal compass is so strong that
Mm.
even if you end up deluding yourself, there will be a time where you'll have to face it, that something's not right, I need to change, you know or whatever. So
Yeah.
this goes very, very deep,
Okay.
you know
Yeah, this
so
conversation is very beautiful because the questions that I'm asking are very practical in nature, and most men come to you seeking practical advice, and the answers that you're giving are more spiritual in nature. And it feels like we are somehow marrying practicality with spirituality, materialism with the non-material things.
Hmm.
With
That's because all the time, see, people want to be practical.
Mm,
All right, they think they'll become some next level shit by becoming smarter,
mm,
learning more self improvement, watching more YouTube. What the fuck, man? For those who actually help themselves, they do not need self help.
mm, yeah,
you know is fucking stupid. They'll find the next fucking Tony Robbins or the next Jordan Peterson or the next this. Fucking switch it off and go work. Do your shit. You are your own teacher and you are your own student. This is what we do not understand, because the absorption to the ego is so hard, and it is now being identified by everything around us. So the kind of laptop I'm speaking on, the kind of tech around me, the kind of office I have, all of this is me building up my sense of identity, that this is who this motherfucker is. And this is happening with everyone. And then you've got, this little piece of shit over here. All right.
mm,
So this piece of fucking shit, this little thing they called a smartphone,
mm,
is just amplifying the ego assuasion, the massaging of it to another level. All right. So we start thinking that this is who I am, and I need to improvise this, and I need to learn practical things in order to get ahead. But the truth is that it's not so.
mm,
It's not so. The more we think we are different from each other, and if you will look at the agenda overall going on, they're trying to give you opportunities to embrace your differences, right?
yeah.
They're literally encouraging you to be different.
Mm,
They're encouraging you to change your gender. They're encouraging you to
mm,
be a woman if you're a man, and be a man if you're a woman. They're encouraging you to do all of that in the name of embracing difference. It's not that. It's to homogenize society. Ultimately,
yeah.
they want everybody to be the same, because then
Mm,
it's even more easy to do the mind control. All right.
mm,
So individually, they'll make you feel that, you are empowered,
mm,
but they sell you the illusion of empowerment, while basically you're, because they think the end result. So this is the physical visible. All right,
mm,
that this is differentiating me from the next guy. But the brain processes and the patterns through which I came at this conclusion and the other guy came at that conclusion is the same now.
mm,
Is the same.
mm,
Every girl, all right, on your Titstagram has a tattoo here now. Every influencer girl has a tattoo here. All right. The tattoo will be different, but all of them have a tattoo here. All right.
mm,
All of them know how to pout.
mm,
All right. All of them know how to start the shot of a reel so that it will get views. All right. All of them have bios that are probably 10 templates. Somebody will have carpe diem written in it. Somebody will have, fucking
Wanderlust.
what wanderlust written. It is just, and fuck, man, and they're blind, absolutely blind,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
scary.
Mm,
This is not fun.
mm,
So even right now, for for people who might be on the other side of the spectrum, they might think we are making fun of this. I'm horribly depressed because of this.
mm, yeah.
All right, because I know that there is somebody else, another jivatma, like another living being, who literally possesses similar technology as the physical vehicle that I am in,
Mm,
but they are letting their technology being run by somebody else instead of running it themselves,
mm,
because they also possess the intelligence to understand all of this.
mm,
But by now, some of them have gone so far in one direction that to bring them to the other direction, it is like, imagine if somebody is believing for in God. Let's say our grandmothers believing in God for 60 years, and then one day you have somebody who's a very smart argumentator,
mm,
and they, with critical reasoning and everything, prove them God does not exist. You fucking shattered their belief system. They would not let it happen. They would remain in the falsehood because it's comfortable, and it's because there you have a lot of network effects. You have grown a lot in that space,
mm,
you know. So it's we are shit scared to start from zero.
yeah. Yeah, we are
All
shit
right.
scared to start from zero. And right now, like you said, we are being isolated. We're being put in matchbox homes. We are told to embrace our difference, our individuality. Uh, but actually, they're trying to isolate us. And now more than ever, we have to reject society and embrace this idea of community. We don't have community anymore. Earlier, we had the temple or a church
Yeah.
or a gurudwara. We don't have. I don't mind starting my own cult. I'm that desperate for a community
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. That was the plan. The plan was to break the family unit,
Mm,
and then the ultimate plan was to break down the individual.
mm,
So when they put this over our faces, we all start looking the same.
yeah.
All right. When they put this on our faces, they suppressed our
Mm,
voice. When they put this right on our faces, it became a symbol of submission. All right. People never understood that. People never understood that. There are fucking idiots today in closed four wheelers still wearing a mask and driving the fucking car.
mm,
All
yeah.
right. These fuck faces
Mm,
have taken as many injections as they fucking released.
mm,
All right. With a very lovely fear based marketing campaign. Awesome build up. All right. Lovely. Next level shit. Like, if somebody wants to learn marketing, learn it from these guys, man.
man.
Literally, learn it from these guys.
Mm,
Do it for your own good and for the good of those you love. This is how you sell a product, man.
mm, yeah.
You know, lock yourself up so that you don't harm others.
Mm, yeah.
It's fucking visible right there what is going on.
Mm,
All right. So what I was saying was, the plan was to break down the family unit, and the plan now is to break down the individual. All right. Because till now, the one thing they could not do, they got into our consciousness also, right? Because um well, one, they have technology which is an extension of our own body, the
mm,
phone. That's literally the first step towards transhumanism. All right.
mm,
But along with that, what they have is, even in the air, there's so much different electromagnetism going on. All right. It's interfering with our own organic transmitter and receiver as well. All right. So they got into our consciousness, they got into our families, they got into our money, they got into everything. There was one thing till now they did not get into, that was inside our body.
mm,
That was the only thing remaining.
yeah.
The only thing remaining.
Mm,
They got into everything else.
mm,
Even on the outside, with 2020, they got into the three main pillars of a human being's life:
mm,
health, relationships, income.
mm,
All right. Came in the way of income, cut you off from your relationships, couldn't see your own loved one, even if they're a neighbor in front of you, made you afraid of your own people.
mm,
Okay. And health, finally, the way through which they've come inside.
mm, yeah.
And when this thing will start, acting full on, the way society is going to feel and the way they're going to get pissed off is that there will be actual anarchy in a lot of ways.
Mm.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And when that anarchy happens, what I tell people is you have to prepare yourself individually. You have to find like-minded people. If necessary, buy guns legally, illegally. I don't care.
Yeah.
You have to get. You have to learn some martial arts. You have to be prepared.
But you know what they're learning? They're learning how to psychologically influence another human being. This is the kind of video they'll watch on YouTube.
Mm,
All right. What is the point of fucking psychologically manipulating somebody else if tomorrow you don't know whether you're going to survive or not?
mm, yeah.
So it's fucking insane, man. It's insane.
Mm,
And the craziest thing is it is so far out now for some people
mm,
that they'll just not believe it. You see, it goes hand in hand. For something to come on TV,
mm,
we take it as gospel truth.
mm,
Okay, because that's what your conditioning has been since childhood. What have they shown you? That if somebody comes on TV, it's a huge thing. They put
mm,
power, they put hierarchy, they put segregation into your mind, and then made these specific places, mass media, where you have to be special, or if you're someone, only then you can be there. All right. And then whatever started coming there started becoming truth for people, because they're like, if they're on TV, they must be right.
mm. Yeah.
If it's written, they must be right.
Yeah. If they are experts, they must be speaking the
Fucking
truth.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, even I used to think all this transhumanism is crazy, and a lot of people say that technology is not even there yet. So I
Hmm.
decided to get to the bottom of this, and on my podcast, I've got this guy like few months ago called Patrick Pauman from Netherlands,
Hmm.
and he's an
Hmm.
actual. He actually has some 30 microchips inside his body, and on the podcast, he showed how we can unlock his phone just by doing this, how we can unlock his door. He makes payments just by just by shaking
Swiping his
his
palm.
swiping his palm. Yeah, that's already there.
Yeah. Yeah. So they started doing this, I believe, in Sweden, probably
Mm,
around a decade ago. They started implanting chips in the wrists of people.
mm,
That and then now you have palm readers coming in at normal, supermarkets in the US and stuff. So a lot of stuff is happening. All
mm,
right. And then there'll be some people who will do it. The biggest fuck up is what they have done is using social media. What they have done is they have the way they have fucked the masses, because aspirational value always sells. All right. So the masses, let's just take Indian masses, all of them want money,
mm,
all of them want to be sexier, all of them want to have a different skin color, all of them want to upgrade themselves no matter at what cost, by hook or by crook. All
mm,
right. So what they've done is they've given them this technology in their hands, which gives them a fake sense of empowerment as if they've actually changed.
mm,
All right. And they'll imitate the rich.
mm.
Now, the rich
Yeah.
could be a truly rich, knowledgeably rich, wisdom wise rich. And then there are rich puppets. There are
Mm,
people of power puppets. All right. These people, the masses, cannot make out who's who. All
mm,
right. So they'll look at the next goddamn celebrity who'll get on TV saying, "Look, guys, I've got this chip in my hand. Wow, next level thing, so easy,
mm,
so much convenience, boom, boom, boom." All the fucking, lower socio-economic strata society will be like, "I want to be like that cricketer. I want
mm,
to be like that Bollywood celebrity.
mm.
And I'll do fucking the same thing."
Yeah.
And this is how they're getting in.
Mm,
They're at the level at which they're fucking changing the DNA of people. Do you realize how satanic that shit is?
yeah. Very satanic. Yeah. Yeah.
And these
And
guys have no idea.
mm,
They're like, "Oh, kuch nahi hua. I took it. I took the this one also, and I took the that one also, and kuch nahi hua." And then you ask them that why is their hair growing at the side of your neck? Did your hormones change or something happen? You're like, "Oh, I didn't notice only." They have no idea what is going on in their own body and mind.
mm,
There are women whose periods have fucking changed. Their cycles have changed. There are women who are not able to conceive. There are people falling sick for no reason.
yeah. The number of heart attacks have gone up like crazy.
There are fucking youngsters having heart attacks, dude.
Yeah.
But now, will they, every time you do a phone call, will they play that message on the phone? Now you will get a heart attack, put the
No.
fourth booster. No, they will not do this shit.
Dawai bhi or kadai bhi.
Yeah, it's just insane. Insane. I can't, I, I was so appalled at how can a conscious being give up their natural rights, forget constitutional rights.
Mm.
How can you give up your natural rights?
Yeah.
Like what nature has given you, all right? Limbs to walk, all right? Food to secure, all right? Water to drink. Now it's my choice. I want to drink water from like the natural well, or I want to drink the fucking municipal shit coming in my sink. Why should I be confined to that? I want to eat food. Why can't I go to the woods next to me and pick up fruit from the ground? Why do I have to be shoved in with everybody else in a supermarket, which is going to be open just for 3 hours at the time when you're trying to make sure that people do not come in contact with each other?
Mm.
But you're opening a supermarket just for 3 hours. Essentials.
Yeah. I mean,
And people just fucking complied.
yeah.
And you know what, like because I have played around a lot with behavioral psychology, and when I started studying about attraction and social dynamics and stuff, I was like, can't you see, like Pavlov did this to his dog.
Mm.
Pavlov did this to his dog. Behavioral conditioning. They fucking first made it do it for one day. How? Virtue. Made you virtuous. You're gonna take one day, shut down everything, and you're gonna clap for our people who are fighting. But do you realize that there are multiple universes of truth running at the same time? At one level, yes, we need to applaud the people who are genuinely doing healthcare, 100%. But do you realize what the hidden objective is? That without you realizing, one day you shut down everything for 5 minutes of applause. You shut down everything. Great. Now what happened? You got a taste of the new medicine which is coming.
Mm.
Now, after that time, some time has gone, then they'll say, now we need to do this for a slightly longer time. And then that time just kept getting extended.
Mm.
People started losing their minds. People started beating their wives. People started abusing alcohol. What all shit started happening?
Mm.
Not, I would say, more than half of the world's mental mindset, structure, health, mentally is different after 2020.
Yeah.
I can assure you, we are more delicate now.
Mm.
We are more in a fear based mindset now. Because what happens is that an organism, whatever whatever it operates upon,
Mm.
all right, an organism, whatever it imbibes, all right.
Mm.
So somebody's watching me and they think this is the way to be a mature man, they'll imbibe that. So
Mm.
when you start doing it voluntarily, after some time it becomes a pattern. Everything starts happening like that.
Mm.
All right. So if you've been told so much not to be close to people because um, you'll fall sick,
Mm.
all right, that now people are afraid to even socially come close to people.
Mm.
It's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
They've got, yeah, they've got,
the fucking economy and industry has changed. Dating apps have a
yeah.
category now, whether you are or not.
Yeah.
Whether you've taken the shot or not. And like how girls write on dating apps that swipe in the opposite direction of your political leaning. So like swipe
Mm.
right if you're a leftist, or swipe left if you're a right. Normally it's to do with the right wingers and stuff like that. I should write swipe left if you're vaccinated. But fuck, man.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
that's, one of the guy who came on my podcast. He said that he will never marry a vaccinated woman because he may not be able to
Hmm.
reproduce with her or whatever. Would you go to that extreme?
100%.
Okay, okay.
Who?
Uh, s-
Who would go to that extent?
no, would you go to that extent where you would never marry a vaccinated woman?
First of all, how many men and women are there today who are marriage worthy in the first place?
Yeah.
Marriage has no meaning today. It's so fucking. It's like people are doing it. People are having kids
Mm.
in plain stupidity.
Yeah.
They are still kids themselves,
Mm.
but they want to have kids.
Mm.
Are where else? else to spend the black money, man. You know, like the fucking the way kids are being brought up today, it is heartbreaking.
Mm,
There are 4-year-old girls or 4-year-old kids
mm,
or 3-year-old kids, or actually kids too, like from since they're a baby, they
mm,
throw a smartphone in their hands now. Because as a parent, why do you want to pay attention to your child? Like you can give him this, they'll be occupied,
mm,
and usme they'll make a fool out of you, give you cartoon videos, this, that, everything, and now you give that to your kid. Now you've got kids at 3-4 years scrolling through reels.
mm.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's
Dude,
scary.
at that age, you're changing their neurochemistry at a level from which they can never come back.
Mm. Yeah, it's
They
very
can never come
depressing.
back. They won't remember what damage has happened to them. A
Mm,
lot of childhood memories don't stay.
yeah.
They won't remember.
Mm,
Today I'm at a level where I try to remember, fuck, what else has happened in my life, because of which today I might be a fucked up individual. I try
yes.
to consciously dive deeper into my own history, whether medical, whether emotional, whether trauma, whether beautiful moments, no matter what it is, that how could something have possibly changed me, and how can I use that to become a better person today. Because in the Freeman ideology, we have a pillar called the individual. So within the individual, we have potential, we have experience, and we have your spirit of masculinity or femininity. So your potential is your future bank, and your experience is everything that you've done until today. Whether you were a piece of shit or not, it doesn't matter. But basically, everything that you've done till today is evidence and data and knowledge and wisdom that you
Mm,
can mine from that. You can filter out. So
okay.
even if you've been a failure all your life, that can be a major strength if you simply know how to look at it in the right way.
Yeah. I,
But
yeah.
today people will look at, like, okay, I was born into a poor family, so I have no
Mm,
experience, I got no exposure to society. No, man, you got exposure to adversity.
yeah.
That's more important than getting exposure to society. Getting to exposure to society will corrupt you. Getting exposure to adversity will strengthen you.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. A lot of men, traditionally they wanted to get married, have kids, raise families. Today, it's so much harder to do that. In what direction do you think men should go then? Because on one side, men want more freedom; they want to be the free
Hmm.
man. But on the other hand, today, if you have
Hmm.
to get married and have kids, and you've spoken to Deepika Bharadwaj, and you know that the chances of
Hmm.
a woman filing a false 498 case on a man is
Hmm.
very high, and you can lose all
Hmm.
your freedom. A marriage and
Hmm.
a family has become almost pointless now. So do we
Hmm.
give up our reproductive desires?
Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. The question is not about man or woman anymore.
Mm,
Um, it's not about man or woman anymore. One second. Uh, I'm just going to call for some water. But
sure.
yeah, so what is happening is that the divide, all right, the divide is occurring in multiple forms. All right. So today there's a divide between the masculine and the feminine. Today there's a divide within a person themselves. They are disintegrated. They are divided from their own multiple parts. My mind is operating differently, my heart is operating differently. All right, I have not unified and integrated myself, even though I'm an adult male today. All right, so you have a mind which is focusing on gratification, which is focusing on getting richer, power, status, everything, and you're going through hookups. But then you have a heart who feels empty when after the hookup you sleep and you feel empty from within, and you feel disgusted and shameful. So you have humanity today going through a period of divide. All right, and that is embodying within an individual, that is embodying between the masculine and the feminine, that is embodying between women who are for that brand of empowerment, and women who today are completely away from it. They are like, we want nothing to do with this, because we know that if we are into this, we will never get a worthy husband. Nobody will want to marry a woman who's going to that level of extremism with some movement. So you have a divide coming in everywhere, and neither is man to blame nor is woman to blame. There is nobody to blame. This is simply an evolution of consciousness which is taking place. All right, so you can forget the gender also. It's nothing to do with man or woman. There's a split coming in consciousness, because not everybody will get to go to the next level. And again, this is not coming from a place of being judgmental, or that somebody is better, somebody is worse. No, man, this is just what is going on. I'm just telling whatever my observation and experience is just showing me. So this doesn't mean that those who are going to ascend are going to be better, those who get behind are going to this. We are nobody to figure out what's good, what's bad. The way it's happening, it's happening. All right, it's just happening. You can't fucking do anything about it unless you become a spark of one side of that consciousness. So either you are an awakened person, and then you'll start attracting more and more awakened people to you, or you'll become a light for others to awaken to. So your podcast is going to be one example. All right. So there's a split in that consciousness which is there. There is a particular kind of consciousness which is going to remain sleeping, and then there are those whose consciousness is making them lighter beings. As you said, reality is dense today.
Yeah.
So today my focus is not on collecting shit. My focus is on becoming lighter in every possible way. All
Yeah.
right. So when you spoke about Deepika Bhardwaj and 498 and men and women, and will men marry, will women this thing, yes, they will. There will be a huge segment of society which wants community, which wants to become traditional once again, which wants to come back to men being men, women being women, which wants to come back to healthcare being coming from nature rather than a factory. There'll be everything like this. That will be one set of the population. And then there'll be one set of the population who live purely on whatever is being sold to them, whether to their mind, whether to their body, whether to their heart. So they will be the ones who will have, just everything is gonna be different for them. That, oh, marriage, I'm married to three people at the same time. That will be marriage for them. And oh yes, I had a child but I aborted them, or yes, I had a child and I've given them away, or whatever. And I'm not saying any of this because I'm pro or against anything, whether marriage, whether abortion. No, I'm just saying it as it is turning out to be. I personally do not identify with anything. I've lost all my sense of identity, I've lost all my sense of right and wrong, I've lost all my sense of who I am. It's just naked truth that I care about. I don't care about what they want us to believe. I don't care what I want myself to believe, because the free man is also about gaining freedom from yourself. You yourself imprison yourself in many
Yeah.
ways. So if today I go like feminists are bad, I will be averse even to the suffering of women in Saudi Arabia. All right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you look at the evidence or the actions, they are doing a slut walk in New York City, but not in Saudi Arabia. How does that help the women over there? you know
Yeah.
so I will fight for women. And actually I am, by trying to create better men, I am fighting for women. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
My purpose is to make men better, but who I'm serving is the divine feminine, because I am completely enamored by the feminine. It has been one of the biggest driving forces for me in my life to do anything.
Okay.
And this is not just for me, this is going to be for anyone who's in tune with their masculine, because a mature masculine promotes further improvement in the feminine, and it the same thing works vice versa.
Yeah.
So I actually adore femininity, and I used to feel sad that there are, because there came a time when I was like, I can't be with million different women at the same time, so why don't I just try to make men better? you know
Okay.
and even though that time it was young, so the mindset is different, more asaholic. Today it's not, but the work, the intent, the purpose is the same. I am actually serving the feminine. Nobody understands this.
Yeah.
Only
By
very few close people understand that what my actual purpose always has been. My work is with men, my everything is with them, I'm serving them, etc. Who's going to be the ultimate
beneficiary.
beneficiary
Yeah.
without having to put in much effort? Who's going to be the ultimate beneficiary?
Obviously,
Women.
women. Yeah.
All
So
right.
this. So
They'll have
this
better
has been.
fathers, they'll
Yeah.
have better brothers, they'll have better sons, they'll have just better everything.
Yeah, and a better society as a whole. Right
Yes.
now, we are synthetically manufacturing weaker men, and feminists think having these so-called beta men because masculinity is toxic is better. But we are seeing the downsides of having too many. weak men also, and you are sort of changing this and making this your purpose, which is amazing.
If masculinity is so toxic, then why are women trying to become like men today?
Yeah. Mm, good
You
question.
know,
Yeah.
because what is the point of completely abusing a particular gender and their traits and their characteristics, and at the same time you're just trying to imitate all of that?
Yeah.
What is this fucking? What is this? Doesn't make sense. So and another thing, when you said, like, there are men today who want to be a free man, not marry and stuff. So there are two sentinels of freedom. There are two pillars on which freedom is earned: discipline and responsibility. Freedom doesn't mean that I have no shit to do, I'm not attached to anything, I couldn't give a fuck. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. uh, you will get freedom in your life if you possess discipline and responsibility, and if you carry them out. So being married doesn't mean that you can't be a free man, you know
Yeah.
because the freedom we are talking about is very etheric in nature. It is freedom from the mind, freedom from emotions, freedom from a lot of those kind of things. That doesn't mean that you totally get to avoid your dharam in life, your duty in life. It doesn't mean that, you know because, as I said, then what good are you going to be?
Yeah.
If you, as a human being, because we were talking about service, we were talking about seva, we all, Ishi used to say this to me, that we live in an interdependent universe. We all do have to depend on each other, because the kind of times I was going through, she's seen, and she's seeing me trying to fight against everything, all right. And
Yeah.
she's like, why are you so averse to taking help from people? Why are you this? Why are you that? Why are you this? And at that time, I was at a stage where I couldn't have faith in anything or anyone. I was afraid of everything and everyone, you know so one of those points in my journey. And she was saying this, and then later I realized, it's very, very true, because the only way duality can function is if the two polar ends are continuously engaging with each other. you know so we are in an interdependent universe where the only way any of us feel fulfilled is when we are of value to another being. All right. So if your parents get a smile on their face because of you giving them some time, compared to you going hardcore hustle culture at your job, that will ultimately make you feel better than a temporary, compliment from your boss, or some shitty compensation increase or whatever. But most people have completely forgot that.
Yeah.
you know so service is what fulfills all of us. Because if you come back to the topic of love that we were talking about, we all need love. But what does everyone want today? They want attention. They don't want love, they want attention, whereas they don't realize that they need love. Now, how do you get love? You can't just go out and say, give me love, give me love, give me love. You have to give it first. If
Okay.
you'll give love, whether it's through your work, whether it's through your deeds, whether it's through a conversation, whether it's through your anything. Even the way men train and exercise, they don't exercise with love for their body. They are fighting against their body to just look better for a next
Yeah.
Instagram selfie.
Yeah.
You have to nurture your body with love. I know this because I have been horrifyingly, demanding on my body. I've done next level shit, and
Okay.
I have paid a price for all of that. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so basically, this aspect of living in love, no matter whether it's to do with humans, whether it's to do with your livelihood, whether it's to do with your family, no matter what it is, this is what it'll all come down to. you know and those of us who can still feel love, we are lucky. Or at least we can get back in touch with it, we are lucky. There are people who soon will be so numb because of what's being done to them, they will never ever be able to recognize higher level emotions, frequencies, anything, nothing. They'll be dead. They'll be literally dead. They'll be so dead that robots will take over their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly, a lot of it is happening, and what you said makes a lot of sense. Attention can never be a substitute for love. And my God, this was a really useful conversation, man. I've learned a lot, and I think that concludes our podcast. And is there anything that you would like to add, as we come to the end of the podcast?
No, man, just like whoever is listening to this, if it, strikes you inside, if it resonates with you, share this with people.
Mm.
We need to wake up,
Yeah.
you know, and again, it'll begin with you giving. The more you'll give, in a direction which just makes you do something without any expectation of a return, you will automatically start becoming the better side of yourself.
Mm.
You know, we are in a place today where every action we are doing, we are looking at it as a transaction and seeing what can we get from it. I don't know since when did all of us become so Sindhi or Marwadi. you know
Now we are offending a completely different group of people.
no, jokes apart, like the thing is, if all of us become conscious,
Mm.
if the baseline of consciousness overall amongst all of us just becomes slightly better,
Mm.
none of us will get offended at each other
Yeah.
because we'll all embrace our truth.
Mm.
you know a Marwari will embrace, yeah, that, yeah, this is my trait and this is my characteristic, and that is why we are some of the best businessmen in the world.
Mm.
you know so perception is just different clouds coming in front of the truth.
Mm.
The same quality can be good or bad, just if viewed from different angles. I would
Mm.
love to be a Marwadi
Mm.
so that I stop working for free,
Mm.
so that I realize how to turn something profitable, so that I realize how to maximize resources. I have a friend who has a shop, and they don't just use the shop, they use every corner of that shop. That is a
Mm.
regular shop, but you can literally buy anything over there. You'll get everything over there.
Mm.
And they have maximized that space, that a little attic on top, they've put a tailor and made a boutique. The place in front, outside on the shop, they've got somebody doing alterations. They've got, like, now you see, now that is next level shit. That is efficiency. Um that is good use of whatever resources you are. That is very industrious nature. That is very productive.
Mm.
So you see, now if you just remain like that,
Mm.
then you will be called a Marwadi in the bad way, because that's all you're doing
Mm.
for self benefit. Now, if you do the same thing, but you do it at a level where your selfishness gets converted into selflessness for a lot of others also, then you're a conscious Marwadi. Then you're just like more awakened. So, Marwadi or not, boy or not, male, female or not, gay, lesbian or not, these are all words invented and marketed to us for us to start feeling different from each other, whereas at the root we are all the same.
Mm. Yeah.
And the fuel we'll all survive on is love. All right, there are instances from history where people have gone through months without food, barely, hardly any drinking water, but love and the hope of being reunited with family or their loved one or their dog has kept them fucking alive.
Mm.
All right, so you might want to collect numbers in your bank account, you might want to collect followers on your Instagram,
Mm.
but will you fucking fight through adversity to remain alive to come back to this shit? Or will
Mm.
you do it for your mother and father or your loved one, your sister, your best friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your dog, your pet, God, somebody non fucking, in the physical, whatever? Will you do it? Which one do you think you'll have a higher probability doing it for?
Yeah, I mean, people want a purpose, but right now that purpose has been replaced with something like numbers or something that's far more
Profit.
materialistic. And yeah, it's terrible.
We have a
But
hashtag purpose over pussy, by the way.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I love your t-shirts, man. Purpose over pussy.
We should have another one, purpose over profit.
Yeah, man. Anyways, thanks for coming on the podcast. This was a wonderful conversation. And yeah, man, I look forward to seeing more of your stuff. You're doing a great job and you inspired so many men. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. And as I said, like, for anyone listening to this, pass it on. Seriously, pass it on. you know and another thing, I don't know who your guests are, but I can do a good guess of what kind of people they are, because especially Animesh, Johan, and also I know, and then you have some other names. Let's do a group conversation at some point of time.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's
you know
something that we can do for sure. Animesh, unfortunately, I think he's gone in the woods. Like you can't
yeah,
contact
yeah,
him.
he's been heading towards becoming off grid since a long time. He's been building it since a long time.
So
So
I'm thinking that I can get you and two other people will do a four-way conversation very soon.
100%, let's do it.
Yeah.
Full on.
All right. Yeah. That's it, man. Thank you.
Awesome.